everyone, I'm Emily and I am here at the Rachel Carson Reserve, here to talk with educator Christine from the North Carolina Maritime Museum at Beaufort to talk about seashells. Thanks for taking me out here, Christine.
I'm glad to have you. It's a beautiful day, so a great day to come visit the beach.
Awesome. So my first question for you is, where do seashells actually come from?
They come from a lot of different animals. Animals actually have lived in these shells and built them up around them. So you can see here I have a clam, and there was a creature that lived inside this shell, and as he grew up actually built this up around him.
Interesting. So how are shells made exactly?
So these animals that are living inside of them are actually filter feeders. So what they do is they'll filter their food out of the water and pull the things that they need for their body and for their shells and build up the shells as they go. And what's really cool is on some of these shells, let me find a good one in here, you can see these beautiful lines on them, and they're growth lines. So as this creature has started off minuscule here and gotten bigger and bigger, and as material becomes plentiful, meaning there's a lot of nutrition in the water, they'll build up the shell and their bodies will grow as well. So these are actually growth lines on the outside of the shell that you're seeing here.
So it's kind of like rings on a tree.
Similar to rings on a tree, the major difference being where on a ring on a tree, you know that happened on a yearly basis, so it helps you age them. This kind of happens more on a as food is available basis. On Earth, we've documented, I believe it's over 70,000 different species of shell dwellers. So the most common style shell you're going to see out here is going to be a bivalve, a creature that has two shells. They live on the inside and they're able to open and close these shells as they need. So this is a clam. Once again, you can see those beautiful rings kind of indicating how minuscule he was when he started and then as he grew. But then another very common one, probably the most common you're going to find in our area, is the oyster shell that's going to be out here. And these, what's cool about them is they are bivalves and they actually will live on top of each other.
So you mentioned that you see more of these commonly here in North Carolina, but does North Carolina have a state shell by any chance?
We do actually. We have, in 1965, we became the first state to have our very own state shell. Our shell is known as the Scotch bonnet. And what's cool is they actually chose the Scotch bonnet to be our state shell to honor the Scottish settlers that helped settle North Carolina. Now, if you find a shell like this on the beach, as tempted as you might be to take that home with you, always make sure you check inside the shell, because even if the original owner of that shell is not in there, it is very common to find the crabs that have decided to live there.
So Christine, as I'm holding on to this shell and looking at it, I'm remembering when family and friends would tell me as a kid that if I brought the shell up to my ear, I could hear the ocean. Now, if I'm out back home inland, I'm probably not going to actually hear the ocean. So how does that work exactly?
So it's really a cool phenomenon because usually works best with a whelk shell, usually bigger than this one. And when you put it up to your ear, it cups your whole ear, and you've got a pretty strong artery there. So what's happening when you cup your ear like that is you're hearing your own pulse echoing through that shell. And it sounds very much like the waves. Unless you're a hardcore mermaid believer and they say it's a shell phone and you're listening to the mermaids themselves.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Yes, you're definitely more likely hearing your pulse and your heartbeat. So we have whelks here. So this right here is something that you'll find commonly on the beach. And this is a whelk egg case. So little baby whelks are in there, and when they're born, they're actually born with their shells already. And I have in this little case here some newborn whelks, and you can see how small, they're almost borderline microscopic.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Well, Christine, thank you so much for taking me out here to the Rachel Carson Reserve to teach me a little bit more about shells.
Glad to have you. Thank you for coming.